What is your path to Dharma? Hello and welcome back to Path to Dharma podcast. I'm
Shay's
Shay.
back. Shay's back. Whoop whoop. Yes.
I was just saying I'm so deep in a few initiations at the moment, but I need the Srimad Bhagavatam more than ever. So we're here and we're recording, and I can't wait. And you are going to give us a recap of chapter one. We're currently in the sixth canto. We've only read chapter one so far. I did not give myself a recap of chapter one, so start us off with that.
Well,
What?
welcome, dear friends. This is Shannon, Path to Dharma podcast. So happy to have you here with us. We had a little bit of a break, but we are back and we hope and plan to be back on a regular basis with y'all. As you know, we have been reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's been a hot second since we've got into it. We just busted into the sixth canto. And as a recap of where we've been, we have been reading about the life of the sage Ajamila. And if you recall, Ajamila was a sage and he was just going about his life of becoming enlightened. And he saw a prostitute and became basically filled with lust and invited her into his house to be his housekeeper. Air quotes, air quotes. But eventually ended up pretty much like replacing his wife with her. Well,
Okay.
he gets to the end of his life and he's spent his life with this prostitute in his household and supporting her sons and daughters, setting aside his own wife. And one of his sons he names Narayan. Do you remember this story now?
Okay. Yes, I do. Yes, I
Okay.
do.
So he gets to the very end of his life, and in sort of like the pain and fear of death, he calls out for his son Narayan to be at his side. He's calling out the name of Narayan. Just so coincidentally, the name of the god of the universe happens to be Narayan. And so, because of his past life karma and deeds, and really everything he'd done up to the point of really falling, he you know, he calls out to Narayan, and when the spirits come to collect his soul to whether he's going to Vaikuntha or he's going with Yamaraja down to some version of hell, basically Vishnu's minions and um,
Yeah. I do.
Yamaraja's minions show up to claim him, and they start to have a discussion. And so, first in chapter one, we've heard from Yama's Dutas who have said he didn't live a good life. We're here to get him. But Vishnu's Viṣṇudūtas are about to show up here in chapter two and explain why. No, actually, they can't have Ajamila. So that's where we're at. Do you remember all that?
I do. I
Yes.
do.
Okay. Well, before we begin reading the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, should we do some beautiful obeisances?
We shall. We
Yes,
shall.
let's.
Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one must first offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Nārāyaṇa Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely soul is completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact.
Let's go. A revocable fact.
Irrevocable.
I take it. I accept that as a fact. Okay. Okay, here we are. Sixth Canto, Chapter 2, Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 1.
Oh.
Sukadeva Goswami said, My dear king, the servants of Lord Viṣṇu are always very expert in logic and arguments. After hearing the statements of the Yamadūtas, they replied as follows.
The Viṣṇudūtas said, Alas, how painful it is that irreligion is being introduced into an assembly where religion should be maintained. Indeed, those in charge of maintaining the religious principles are needlessly punishing a sinless, unpunishable person.
A king or governmental official should be so well qualified that he acts as a father, maintainer, and protector of the citizens because of affection and love. He should give the citizens good advice and instructions according to the standard scriptures and should be equal to everyone. Yamaraja does this, for he is the supreme master of justice, and so do those who follow in his footsteps. However, if such persons become polluted and exhibit partiality by punishing an innocent, blameless person, where will the citizens go to take shelter for their maintenance and security?
The mass of people follow the example of a leader in society and imitate his behavior. They accept as evidence whatever the leader accepts. Is that true?
Man, this feels relevant.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Text 5 and 6. People in general are not very advanced in knowledge by which to discriminate between religion and irreligion. The innocent, unenlightened citizen is like an ignorant animal sleeping in peace with its head on the lap of its master, faithfully believing in the master's protection. If a leader is actually kind-hearted and deserves to be the object of a living entity's faith, how can he punish or kill a foolish person who has fully surrendered in good faith and friendship?
Ajamila has already atoned for all his sinful actions. Indeed, he has atoned not only for sins performed in one life, but for those performed in millions of lives. For in a helpless condition, he chanted the holy name of Narayan. Even though he did not chant purely, he chanted without offense, and therefore he is now pure and eligible for liberation.
Okay, this is like mind-blowing to me that this happened. He calls out the name of Narayan in the moment of death. According,
Yeah, and I feel like there's many stories similar to this, where it's like a person who might not be a pure devotee calls out the name of God and then is saved and liberated.
right. I mean, there's a story in the Bible about one of the two criminals that were on crosses next to Jesus, and one of them calls out to Jesus and asks for forgiveness and is given it at the last second, basically before his death. And it's kind of goes to the doctrine, so to speak, of that as long as you do it with a pure intent, it doesn't matter when you do it, even at your last moment of life.
Right, right.
Um,
Which totally makes sense if that's what you're going for is like purity of heart.
well, yeah. I mean, that's the whole, okay, so that's the whole thing about people getting caught up on earth and saying, well, I'll repent for that later.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I can always repent at the last second. But like that's the whole thing of the purity of the calling out to God has to be there for it to actually count as a pure sort of utterance. And I think that's what's being said here. He chanted without
But
offense, and now
without
he's pure and liberate and eligible for liberation.
right, but he didn't chant purely. He wasn't chanting for God Narayan.
I mean, could one say it was his karma to name his child Narayan so that at the point of
I
his
mean,
death, he would be thinking of Narayan in that way? So in some weird way, he was focused on Narayan throughout his incarnation. I,
I mean, honestly,
I
that's what was coming to me in throughout this conversation. Yes, that seems likely, right? Nothing is purely accidental.
right, that's kind of how it was set up, maybe. Okay, let's keep going.
All right, I think it's you, text 8.
Okay, you think it's me. The Viṣṇudūtas continued. Even previously, while eating and at other times, this Ajamila would call his son, saying, my dear Narayan, please come here. Although calling the name of his son, he nevertheless uttered the 4 syllables Nārāyaṇa. Simply by chanting the name of Nārāyaṇa, in this way he sufficiently atoned for the sinful reactions of millions of lives.
Okay, so there we go. Yeah, he's
That's it.
saying his.
Yes, yes. Okay,
Oh, the powerful names.
right.
The chanting of the holy name of Lord Viṣṇu is the best process of atonement for a thief of gold or other valuables, for a drunkard, for one who betrays a friend or relative, for one who kills a Brahmin, or for one who indulges in sex with the wife of his guru or another superior. It is also the best method of atonement for those who murders women, the king or his father, for one who slaughters cows, and for all other sinful men. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Viṣṇu, such sinful persons may attract the attention of the Supreme Lord, who therefore considers, because this man has chanted my holy name, my duty is to give him protection.
Okay, I understand what's being said here, but in my brain, I'm again slightly struggling with what I said earlier about so you can go around doing heinous things, and as long as you're saying Narayan while doing it, it doesn't count. That
Yeah,
doesn't that doesn't feel right. I don't think that's what it's saying. Someone help me in the comments, like really understand what is being said here.
right. I mean, when you just think about the Srimad Bhagavatam as a whole and like how what path it's trying to put you on, by reading this, you're not doing these heinous things probably anyhow.
Yeah, true, true.
However, yeah, does it make it right for the person who is doing the heinous things who just happens to have a son named Ram or have a son named Narayan or have a son named Krishna?
Yeah, right. Okay.
But then, like you said, is that it isn't it just that person's karma that they have this person in their life who has this name that they are atoning again and again and again all throughout their lives, saying the
Yeah,
name?
right. Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay, text 11. By following the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies or undergoing atonement, sinful men do not become as purified as by chanting once the holy name of Lord Hari. Although ritualistic atonement may free one from sinful reactions, it does not awaken devotional service, like the chanting of the Lord's names, which reminds one of the Lord's fame, qualities, attributes, pastimes, and paraphernalia. Okay, so wait a second. As I was reading this, I was thinking, okay, there's something about the physical saying of the name and the sounds of the words that are cleansing somewhat. Does that make sense?
Right.
It's like cleansing you. So
Yeah.
even if you're not consciously thinking about, Narayan, the big N, Narayan, and you're calling your kid, because of the name itself does it. Almost like I don't want to say a magical spell, but in some ways it's like the vibration of the sound.
Well, see our video from what, like 4 years ago of like your words are magic or whatever. Did
Right.
we do an episode on that?
Right.
It was
We
far
did.
beyond, far before the Srimad Bhagavatam.
What we
But yeah,
said was, um, sorry. I had to answer that. Okay. What we said was, words are spells, basically. What you put out into the world is everything. And it has a vibration and it has an intention. So in that way, I get it. I
yeah.
maybe I'm starting to get it. Okay. Text
Well,
12.
and I want to remind us too, there was a comment like, I don't know, months ago, someone's like, you two stop speculating. It's like, okay, yeah, let's just read the chapter and
Yeah, I suppose. I
all of our
suppose.
answers will probably be not even probably. All the answers are in here anyway.
True, true. But this is us again. I remind everyone also, we're reading this real time. So this is our actual reaction. So,
Right. Okay,
okay.
text 12.
12.
Ritualistic ceremonies of atonement recommended in the religious scriptures are insufficient to cleanse the heart absolutely because after atonement, one's mind again runs towards material activities. Consequently, for one who wants liberation from the fruit of reactions of material activities, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, or glorification of the name, fame, and pastimes of the Lord, is recommended as the most perfect process of atonement, because such chanting eradicates the dirt from one's heart completely.
Okay, text 13. At the time of death, this Ajamila helplessly and very loudly chanted the holy name of the Lord Nārāyaṇa. That chanting alone has already freed him from the reactions of all sinful life. Therefore, O servants of Yamaraja, do not try to take him to your master for punishment in hellish conditions. Okay.
Mhm. One who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins, even if he chants indirectly, to indicate something else, jokingly, for musical entertainment, or even neglectfully. This is accepted by all the learned scholars of the scriptures.
That is not crazy, but that's kind of wild. And it slightly reminds me of way back before I even heard the Bhagavad Gita. I got stuck on this mantra song, this album that was just singing like these mantras. I just liked the sound of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like sometimes I wonder, did I call Krishna in? You know what I mean? Inadvertently by just singing along with these songs that I just liked.
Yeah,
Crazy. Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, probably. Okay. If one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune, such as falling from the top of a house, slipping and suffering broken bones while traveling on the road, being bitten by a serpent, being afflicted with pain and high fever, or being injured by a weapon, one is immediately absolved from having to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful. Okay, so at your moment of death, we're crying out Narayan. For sure, right? For sure.
There's many moments in my life I'm going to be kind of.
I already do too, but if I'm ever falling off the cliff, then you'll be like, Narayan.
Well, and that's why you
You fall down.
practice, right? I mean, we've heard
Right.
that time and time again. It's like all of this is just preparing you for death. It's like if you practice
Right,
chanting
right,
so
right,
often, it just becomes second nature that when you're dying, that is where your mind goes.
right.
Text 16. Authorities who have learned authorities who are learned scholars and sages have carefully
Ascertained.
ascertained that one should atone for the heaviest sins by undergoing a heavy process of atonement, and one should atone for lighter sins by undergoing lighter atonement. Chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, however, vanquishes all the effects of sinful activities, regardless of whether heavy or light.
Hare Krishna. I just want to say
That
that.
doesn't give you that still doesn't give you the right to like go be a terrible person and then because you're going to chant Hare Krishna later that night.
No, it
Right?
doesn't. It doesn't. But
It's still creating karma for yourself.
also, I feel like doesn't Krishna say something along the lines, if you keep saying it, it actually changes your heart, even if you just don't even
Right.
mean it? He says something like that. Even if you don't go to him
Yeah.
sincerely, eventually it like goes into your heart and you will change. Okay.
Yeah.
Although one may neutralize the reactions of sinful life through austerity, charity, vows, and other such methods, I love how the answer is just like literally right here.
Yeah.
These pious activities cannot uproot the material desires in one's heart. However, if one serves the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, he is immediately freed from all such contaminations. I love this is why they say don't speculate, because we're literally speculating on what if you live your life full of austerities and charities. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, it really doesn't help uproot the material desires of one's heart. It doesn't. I mean, doing good in the world feels good. Even just
Right.
for the sake of doing good things and not even thinking, I hope something good comes from this, but just like for the sake of doing good things. But it isn't the same as what it
Right.
feels like. Like when you've been deep in like kirtan and you're just like singing and it's like this crazy blissful feeling. I don't know about everyone else, but that's what happens to me. It's almost like I float
Yeah.
slightly out of my body and it's like this crazy, just like ecstasy almost that fills you. That can't happen from just doing good deeds.
Right. Right. As a fire burns dry grass to ashes, so the holy name of the Lord, whether chanted knowingly or unknowingly, burns to ashes without fail all the reactions of one's sinful activities.
If a person unaware of the effective potency of a certain medicine takes that medicine or is forced to take it, it will act even without his knowledge because its potency does not depend on the patient's understanding. That's a great point. Similarly, even though one does not know the value of chanting the holy name of the Lord, if one chants it knowingly or unknowingly, the chanting will be very effective. Okay. Okay. Yep. All right, I accept. You got me.
My next dog's name is definitely going to be
I was just gonna say, what are we naming everything and everyone now? Okay.
for real. Yeah. Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, having thus perfectly judged the principles of devotional service with reasoning and arguments, the order carriers of Lord Viṣṇu released the Brahmin Ajamila from the bondage of the Yamadūtas and saved him from imminent death.
I love it. I love it. My dear Maharaja Parikshit, O subduer of all enemies, after the servants of Yamaraja had been answered by the order carriers of Lord Viṣṇu, they went to Yamaraja and explained to him everything that had happened.
Having been released from the nooses of Yamaraja's servants, the Brahmin Ajamila, now free from fear, came to his senses and immediately offered obeisances to the Viṣṇudūtas by bowing his head at their lotus feet. He was extremely pleased by their presence, for he had seen them save his life from the hands of the servants of Yamaraja.
Yeah, wow. Can you imagine how ridiculously grateful and thankful you'd be at that moment?
Yeah.
I do feel like that at times when Krishna saves me from my own self, usually, or from some type of fear or pain or whatever. I do feel ridiculously grateful. This is such a beautiful lesson, and I love this. Okay,
Yeah.
text 23. O sinless Maharaja Parikshit, the order carriers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Viṣṇudūtas, saw that Ajamila was attempting to say something, and thus they suddenly disappeared from his presence. What are they
Oh,
like? Actually, don't ruin it. Stop.
right. After hearing the discourses between the Yamadūtas and the Viṣṇudūtas, Ajamila could understand the religious principles that act under the three modes of material nature. These principles are mentioned in the three Vedas. He could also understand the transcendental religious principles, which are above the modes of material nature and which concern the relationship between the living being and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Furthermore, Ajamila heard glorification of the name, fame, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He thus became a perfectly pure devotee. He could then remember his past sinful activities, which he greatly regretted having performed.
Ajamila said, Alas, being a servant of my senses, how degraded I became. I fell down from my position as a duly qualified Brahmin and begot children in the womb of a prostitute.
Alas, all condemnation upon me. I acted so sinfully that I degraded my family tradition. Indeed, I gave up my chaste and beautiful young wife to have sexual intercourse with a fallen prostitute, accustomed to drinking wine. All condemnation upon me.
My father and mother were old and had no other son or friend to look after them because I did not take care of them. They lived with great difficulty. Alas, like an abominable lower class man, I ungratefully left them in that condition.
It is now clear that as a consequence of such activities, a sinful person like me must be thrown into hellish conditions meant for those who have broken religious principles and must there suffer supreme miseries.
Was this a dream I saw, or was it reality? I saw fearsome men with ropes in their hands coming to arrest me and drag me away. Where have they gone?
And where are those four liberated and very beautiful persons gone who released me from arrest and saved me from being dragged down to the hellish regions?
I am certainly most abominable and fortunate to have merged in an ocean of sinful activities. But nevertheless, because of my previous spiritual activities, I could see those four exalted personalities who came to rescue me. Now I feel exceedingly happy because of their visit.
Were it not for my past devotional service, how could I, a most unclean keeper of a prostitute, have gotten an opportunity to chant the holy name of Vaikuntapati when I was just ready to die? Certainly it could not have been possible.
Ajamila continued, I am a shameless cheater who has killed his Brahmanical culture. Indeed, I am sin personified. Where am I in comparison to the all auspicious chanting of the holy name of the Lord Nārāyaṇa?
I am such a sinful person, but since I have now gotten this opportunity, I must completely control my mind, life, and senses and always engage in devotional service so that I may not fall again into the deep darkness and ignorance of material life.
So did they save his life? Like
Yeah,
he
they saved his life.
they saved his
He didn't
life.
die.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because of identifying oneself with the body, one is subjected to desires for sense gratification, and thus one engages in many different types of pious and impious action. This is what constitutes material bondage. Now I shall disentangle myself from my material bondage, which has been caused by the Supreme Personality of Godhead's illusory energy in the form of a woman. Being a most fallen soul, I was victimized by the illusory energy and have become like a dancing dog led around by a woman's hand. Now I shall give up all lusty desires and free myself from this illusion. I shall become a merciful, well-wishing friend to all living entities and always absorb myself in Krishna consciousness. Okay.
Simply because I chanted the holy name of the Lord in the association of devotees, my heart is now becoming purified. Therefore, I shall not fall victim again to the false lures of material sense gratification. Now that I have become fixed in the absolute truth, henceforward, I shall not identify myself with the body. I shall give up false conceptions of I and mine and fix my mind on the lotus feet of Krishna.
Because of a moment's association with devotees, the Viṣṇudūtas, Ajamila detached himself from the material conception of life with determination. Thus, freed from all material attraction, he immediately started for Haridvāra.
In Haridvāra, Ajamila took shelter at a Vishnu temple, where he executed the process of bhakti yoga. He controlled his senses and fully applied his mind in the service of the Lord.
Ajamila fully engaged in devotional service. Thus, he detached his mind from the process of sense gratification and became fully absorbed in thinking of the form of the Lord.
When his intelligence and mind were fixed upon the form of the Lord, the Brahmin Ajamila once again saw before him four celestial persons. He could understand that they were those who he had seen previously, and thus he offered them his obeisances by bowing down before them.
Upon seeing the Viṣṇudūtas, Ajamila gave up his material body at Haridvāra on the bank of the Ganges. He regained his original spiritual body, which was a body appropriate for an associate of the Lord.
Accompanied by the order carriers of Lord Viṣṇu, Ajamila boarded an airplane made of gold. Passing through the airways, he went directly to the abode of Lord Viṣṇu, the husband of the goddess of fortune.
Ajamila was a Brahmin who, because of a bad association, had given up all Brahmanical culture and religious principles. Becoming most fallen, he stole, drank, and performed other abominable acts. He even kept a prostitute. Thus, he was destined to be carried away to hell by the order carriers of Yamaraja, but he was immediately rescued simply by a glimpse of the chanting of of the holy name Nārāyaṇa.
Therefore, one who desires freedom from material bondage should adopt the process of chanting and glorifying the name, fame, form, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose feet at the holy whose feet all the holy places stand. One cannot derive the proper benefit from other methods, such as pious atonement, speculative knowledge, and meditation and mystic yoga, because even after following such methods, one takes to fruitive activities again, unable to control his mind, which is contaminated by the base qualities of nature, namely passion and ignorance.
Because this very confidential historical narration has the potency to vanquish all sinful reactions, one who hears it or describes it with faith and devotion is no longer doomed to hellish life, regardless of his having a material body and regardless of how sinful he may have been. Indeed, the Yamadūtas who carry out the orders of Yamaraja do not approach him even to see him. After giving up his body, he returns home, back to Godhead, where he is very respectfully received and worshipped.
While suffering at the time of death, Ajamila chanted the holy name of the Lord. And although the chanting was directed towards his son, he nevertheless returned back home to Godhead. Therefore, if one faithfully and inoffensively chants the holy name of the Lord, where is the doubt that he will return to Godhead?
Okay. And that's the end of chapter 2. I mean, yeah, that was really beautiful, actually. And it does remind me that sometimes it's as simple, and I say the word simple, knowing it's not always, doesn't always feel simple, but sometimes it's as simple as just saying the name of the Lord,
Yeah.
just saying it and changing kind of what you're feeling, what you're doing, what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And, maybe it's supposed to be that easy. Maybe we just as humans just make it more difficult than it needs to actually be.
Well, now we're down here on Kali Yuga, so it's even more easy for us to say the name.
Right. Right, exactly. So that is the benefit, I guess, of living in the Kali Yuga. We can chant the name of the Lord and
Oh my goodness me.
you can feel him right away. All right. Well, do we want to move on to chapter 3?
Yeah, let's do chapter
Let's do
3.
chapter 3. Okay. Yamaraja instructs his messengers. So, yeah, his people probably went back. Well, that's what happened at the end. His people go back down there and be like, guess what, Yama?
Yeah, right.
I
Exactly.
think you're text 1. I think you're
All
starting.
right, text 1. King Pariksit said, O my lord, O Sukadeva Goswami, Yamaraja is the controller of all living entities in terms of their religious and irreligious activities, but his order had been foiled. When his servants, the Yamadūtas, informed him of their defeat by the Viṣṇudūtas, who had stopped them from arresting Ajamila, what did he reply?
Oh, great sage, never before has it been heard anywhere that an order from Yamaraja has been baffled. Therefore, I think that people will have doubts about this that no one but you can eradicate. Since that is my firm conviction, please kindly explain the reasons for these events.
Sri Sukadeva Goswami replied, My dear king, when the order carriers of Yamaraja were baffled and defeated by the order carriers of Viṣṇu, they approached their master, the controller of Samyamani Puri, the master of sinful persons, to tell him of this incident.
The Yamadūtas said, Our dear Lord, how many controllers or rulers are there in this material world? How many causes are responsible for manifesting the various results of activities performed under the 3 modes of material nature?
If in this universe there are many rulers and justices who disagree about punishment and reward, their contradictory actions will neutralize each other and no one will be punished or rewarded. Otherwise, if their contradictory acts fail to neutralize each other, everyone will have to be both punished and rewarded.
Mhm. The Yamadūtas continued, Since there are many different karmis or workers, there may be different judges or rulers to give them justice. But just as one central emperor controls different departmental rulers, there must be one supreme controller to guide all the judges. Makes
You think
sense.
so?
I mean, it makes sense.
The supreme judge must be one, not many. It was our understanding that you are that supreme judge and that you have jurisdiction over even the demigods. Our impression was that you are the master of all living entities, the supreme authority who discriminates between the pious and impious activities of all human beings.
But now we see that the punishment ordained under your authority is no longer effective, since your order has been transgressed. Since your order has been transgressed by 4 wonderful and perfect persons. Okay.
Okay, what's going on here?
Right. What's up with these 4 dudes that just showed up? Who are these people?
We thought you had jurisdiction over all these people. We were bringing the most sinful Ajamila towards the hellish planets, following your order when those beautiful persons from Siddhaloka forcibly cut the knots of the ropes which were arresting him.
As soon as the sinful Ajamila uttered the name Nārāyaṇa, those 4 beautiful men immediately arrived and reassured him, saying, Do not fear, do not fear. We wish to know about them from your lordship. If you think we are able to understand them, kindly describe who they are.
Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Thus having been questioned, Lord Yamaraja, the supreme controller of the living entities, was very pleased with his order carriers because of hearing from the holy name of Narayan. He remembered the lotus feet of the Lord and began to reply.
Yamaraja said, "My dear servants, you have accepted me as the supreme, but factually I am not. Above me and above all other demigods, including Indra and Chandra, is the one supreme master and controller. The partial manifestations of his personality are Brahma, Viṣṇu, and Shiva, who are in charge of the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this universe. He is like the two threads that form the length and breadth of a woven cloth. The entire world is controlled by him, just as a bull is controlled by a rope in its nose."
Just as the driver of a bullock cart ties ropes through the nostrils of his bulls to control them, the Supreme Personality of Godhead binds all men through the ropes of his words in the Vedas, which set forth the names and activities of the distinct orders of human society. In fear, the members of these orders all worship the Supreme Lord by offering him presentations according to their respective activities.
I, Yamaraja, Indra, the king of heaven, Niriti, Varuna, Chandra, the moon god, Agni, Lord Shiva, Pavana, Lord Brahma, Surya, the sun god, Vishvasu, the eight Vasus, the Sadyas, the Maruts, the Rudras, the Siddhas, and the Marichi, and the other great rishis engaged in maintaining the departmental affairs of the universe, as well as the best of the demigods headed by Brahaspati, and the great sages headed by Virgo, are all certainly freed from the influence of the two base material modes of nature, namely passion and ignorance. Nevertheless, although we are in the mode of goodness, we cannot understand the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What then is to be said of others who, under illusion, merely speculate to know God?
As the different limbs of the body cannot see the eyes, the living entities cannot see the Supreme Lord, who is situated as the supersoul in everyone's heart. Not by the senses, by the mind, by the life air, by thoughts within the heart, or by the vibration of words, can the living entities ascertain the real situation of the Supreme Lord.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is self-sufficient and fully independent. He is the master of everyone and everything, including the illusory energy. He has his form, qualities, and features, and similarly, his order carriers, the Vaishnavas, who are very beautiful, possess bodily features, transcendental qualities, and transcendental nature, almost like his. They always wander within his world with full independence.
The order carriers of Lord Viṣṇu, who are worshipped even by the demigods, possess wonderful bodily features exactly like those of Viṣṇu and are very rarely seen. The Viṣṇudūtas protect the devotees of the Lord from the hands of the enemies, from envious persons, and even from my jurisdiction, as well as from natural disturbances.
Real religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although fully situated in the mode of goodness. Even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles, nor can the demigods or the leaders of Siddhaloka, to say nothing of the asuras, ordinary human beings, vidyaharas, and charanas.
Lord Brahma, Bhagavan Narada, Lord Shiva, the four Kumaras, Lord Kapila, Svayambhuvamanu, Prahlada Maharaja, Janaka Maharaja, Grandfather Bhishma, Bali Maharaja, Sukadeva Goswami, and I myself know the real religious principle. Oh, it's like all the people that we've met.
I was just saying that. I was like, wow, we've just like met all those people now. I love it.
My dear servants, this transcendental religious principle, which is known as Bhagavata Dharma, or surrender unto the Supreme Lord and love for him, is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. It is very confidential and difficult for ordinary human beings to understand. But if by chance one fortunately understands it, he is immediately liberated, and thus he returns home back to Godhead.
Devotional service, beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, is the ultimate religious principle for the living entity in human society.
My dear servants, who are as good as my sons, just see how glorious is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. The greatly sinful Ajamila chanted only to call his son, not knowing that he was chanting the Lord's holy name. Nevertheless, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, he remembered Nārayaṇa, and thus he was immediately saved from the ropes of death.
Therefore, it should be understood that one is easily relieved from all sinful reactions by chanting the holy name of the Lord and chanting of his qualities and activities. This is the only process recommended for relief from sinful reactions. Even if one chants the holy name of the Lord with improper pronunciation, thank you. Sorry. He will achieve relief from material bondage if he chants without offense. Ajamila, for example, was extremely sinful, but while dying, he merely chanted the holy name, and although calling his son, he achieved complete liberation because he remembered the name of Nārāyaṇa.
Because they are bewildered by the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yajnavalkya and Jamini and other compilers of the religious scriptures cannot know the secret confidential religious systems of the 12 Mahajanas. They cannot understand the transcendental value of performing devotional service or chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Because their minds are attracted to the ritualistic ceremonies mentioned in the Vedas, especially the Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Rigveda, their intelligence has become dull. Thus, they are busy collecting the ingredients for ritualistic ceremonies that yield only temporary benefits, such as elevation to Svarga Loka for material happiness. They are not attracted to Sankirtan movement. Instead, they are interested in Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha.
Considering all these points, therefore, intelligent men decide to solve all problems by adopting the devotional service of chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart and who is a mine of all auspicious qualities. Such persons are not within my jurisdiction for punishment. Generally, they never commit sinful activities, but even if by mistake or because of bewilderment or illusion they sometimes commit sinful acts, they are protected from sinful reaction because they always chant the Hare Krishna mantra.
My dear servants, please do not approach such devotees, for they have fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are equal to everyone, and their narrations are sung by the demigods and the inhabitants of Siddhaloka. Please do not even go near them. They are always protected by the club of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore Lord Brahma and I, even the time factor, and therefore Lord Brahma and I, and even the time factor, are not competent to chastise them.
Wow. Paramahamsas are exalted persons who have no taste for material enjoyment and who drink the honey of the Lord's lotus feet. My dear servants, bring to me for punishment only persons who are averse to the taste of that honey, who do not associate with Paramahamsas. Hamsas. Am I saying that right?
I think so.
And who are attached to family life and worldly enjoyment, which form the path to hell. Wow. Okay.
My dear servants, please bring to me only those sinful persons who do not use their tongue to chant the holy name and qualities of Krishna, whose hearts do not remember the lotus feet of Krishna even once, and whose heads do not bow down even once before Lord Krishna. Send me those who do not perform their duties towards Viṣṇu, which are the only duties in human life. Please bring me all such fools and rascals.
Then Yamaraja, considering himself and his servants to be offenders, spoke as follows, begging pardon from the Lord. O my Lord, my servants have surely committed a great offense by arresting a Vaishnava, such as Ajamila. O Nārāyaṇa, O supreme and oldest person, please forgive us. Because of our ignorance, we fail to recognize Ajamila as a servant of your lordship, and thus we have certainly committed a great offense. Therefore, with folded hands, we beg your pardon. My Lord, since you are supremely merciful and are always full of good qualities, please pardon us. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you.
Sukadeva Goswami continued. My dear king, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is able to uproot even the reactions of the greatest sins. Therefore, the chanting of the Sankirtan movement is the most auspicious activity in the entire universe. Please try to understand this so that others will take it seriously.
One who constantly hears and chants the holy name of the Lord and hears and chants about his activities can very easily attain the platform of pure devotional service, which can cleanse the dirt from one's heart. One cannot achieve such purification merely by observing vows and performing Vedic ritualistic ceremonies.
Devotees who always lick the honey from the lotus feet of Lord Krishna do not care at all for material activities, which are performed under the three modes of material nature and which bring only misery. Indeed, devotees never give up the lotus feet of Krishna to return to material activities. Others, however, who are addicted to Vedic rituals because they have neglected the service of the Lord's lotus feet and are enchanted by lusty desires, sometimes perform acts of atonement. Nevertheless, being incompletely purified, they return to sinful activities again and again.
After hearing from the mouth of their master about the extraordinary glories of the Lord and his name, fame, and attributes, the Yamadūtas were struck with wonder. Since then, as soon as they see a devotee, they fear him and dare not look at him again.
When the great sage Agastya, the son of Kumbha, was residing in the Malaya hills and worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I approached him, and he explained to me this confidential history.
Wow. You know what? I really loved that chapter. That was really good.
I mean, really just digging in that message of chant the holy name.
Yeah.
Chant the holy name.
Chant the holy name for even just reasons more of than I don't want to go to hell.
Right.
Right. I mean, what's being said about it changes you. And even Vishnu or even Yama just said that.
Right.
Usually people who are the devotees don't perform the sinful activities, but even if they do for whatever reason, they're still protected. So,
Right.
um, I don't know. I guess that's a nice feeling. It's nice to know. I'd like to go to Vaikuntha or Gokaloka or whatever. Personally,
Yeah.
I don't really so much worry about like going to hell or anything. It's not that. I guess it's more just wanting my incarnation to mean something. Like if I came here and incarnated, I want to accomplish whatever it is my soul was trying to do,
Right.
you know? And if that includes remembering my devotion and just being a devotee, and that's the whole entire reason I came, then great. I'm here for it. I'm here
Yeah,
for it.
I think oftentimes it's much simpler than we actually think it is.
Yeah, we do overthink. We be overthinkers as a human.
Yeah. Thus
Um,
is the condition of material life, is it not?
is it not? Is it not? Well, on that beautiful chapter, I think we will close for this week. Thank you so much for being with us. If you're still here, um, we send you love and blessings, and we are so grateful to be communing with you, fellow devotee, even if you're not necessarily talking back to us. Although, give us a shout out in the comments. We love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Until next time, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.